So, and once you understand this kind of super weakness of the legs, and that's really the central message, the super weakness of the legs, then his performance in standing is also very, very clear, right? You see, when he's being supported, he's trying to hold the thing up from the top, but when it comes to the level of the lower abdomen, this is where our friend buckles, and you can see that the knees, they don't hold the weight at all, so he basically just collapses under his own weight. So how shall you look at this performance? And how would you judge the progress? In fact, it's quite easy. Let's make a very simple equation, right? So equation is the one where if we look at the total 100% support, so this 100% support, weight bearing, consists of the weight transfer on the legs plus the additional weight transfer, right? So in his scenario, that would be the trunk support plus the support by the arms. So in order to get Gonzalo in this position, you need to get the support by the torso and the support by the arms. But his contribution of the legs is very, very small. So if I generously give him 5%, that's very generous. So the legs are just not holding anything, they're just collapsing. So what does it mean? That today, the total equation is that 5% of the support comes from the bottom, 95% of the support comes from the top. So if you ask me, well, is he going to be able to walk and use the legs better and so on and so on? So as I already explained, we take what we have now and develop the incremental improvements. So what I can tell you is that from where we are, we can definitely improve this support. So first thing, from 5% we get 595, we get towards 1090, right? So then 2080, so then 3070. So that's how this evolution happens. It's not that he's walking better or he's doing one step and so on. No. The thing is that we have to get out of this situation when the legs are just buckling underneath him, so that he has to start responding from the ground. He has to be able to connect the legs to the pelvis. The hips should not collapse under the weight, the knees should not collapse under the weight, and so on. So that's the evolution that we are looking for in that scenario. So that's our that's how the progress and the increments are working. But if you ask me, well, okay, that sounds good, let's kind of move on. And does it mean that eventually we can bring it to 100%? Well, the thing is, in this process, there are some kind of critical phase transitions. So now the legs are just kind of withdrawn there. So to get first maybe additional 25-30% of the leg support, that still comes within the same sort of league and within the same level. To get to the next third, that's quite a critical transition. You need a lot of elements to connect in the hip, pelvis, abdomen, and so on to get into the next league. And then you can get into the next league. So you can compare it a little bit with the sports championship. So you are starting in the, say, if this is the third league, second league, and the first league, the Premier League, right? So you are starting here at the bottom of the third division. So I can assure you that as you work, you will move from the bottom of the third division quite consistently. You would move to the middle of the third division. So then, as you work further, we can be quite reliably expecting that you would move up to the top of the third division. But now, to earn the promotion from one league to another, that's a critical step. It typically requires more, right? It could be some, like additional transitions of the global properties, right? The global, it's not just the legs, it's the global situation has to change. He has to start gaining weight better. He has to get better digestive function, better bowel movement, and so on. Because what you are describing there is that he has bowel movement only once or twice a week. That indicates the weakness of the lower abdomen and the intestinal functions and so on. So it requires this integration between the arms and the legs. It requires some reconnection of the spine. So that's how you earn the promotion. But once you've got this promotion, then again, within the next league, you can have this from the bottom of the table, you move to the middle of the table, you move to the lead of the table. But once again, to get the promotion there, that's a big phase transition, big kind of qualitative stage. So that's why looking ahead that far, that's not a very productive way of doing it, right? So you see, as they also tell you in sports, that you have to focus on your next game, right? You shouldn't be dreaming of what's going to happen, because moving to the further leagues, you also need the much bigger budget, right? So the budget, and that is the same thing here. You need much bigger budget for the next level of activity. So that's how the things evolve, and that's what really I want you to understand, so that there would be no kind of confusions about it, so we don't have any misunderstandings.